On August 19, 2015, the Kenai River Sport Fishing Association presented the third annual Classic Roundtable on National Recreational Fishing in Soldotna, Alaska. The Roundtable panel featured an unprecedented coalition of sport fishing advocacy groups who discussed the 20-year outlook for the future of recreational fishing. The industry's premier thought leaders discussed the long-term challenges and opportunities for the sport with the offices of Alaska's U.S. Senators. Together, the panelists were able to cast a vision of unity and bright future for America's 11 million saltwater anglers.
We saw some very significant, important provisions included in that bill that were added on from the time it was introduced until the time that it passed the House of Representatives that made some very, very important, meaningful changes to address many of the issues we've been talking about here today in terms of alternative management for recreational fisheries, allowing NOAA fisheries to explore those types of management measures.
There's always that hope for fishermen, and Zane Grey, the great novelist from the early 1900s, and a prolific angler himself, had a great quote. He said that he wrote, "Hope burns always in the heart of a fisherman," and I truly believe that. And so I tend to put myself in that very optimistic, hopeful camp when I think about the future of our sport, the future of our industry, and the future of our conservation of our resources as well.
There's something endemic about the human condition that gets us out there and gets us jacked up to go fishing. It's why there are so many people that want to own one of these boats and get out there and go fishing, as we talked about. So I'm excited to be here because I want to protect something for my children and for all of your children and for you, because it's something that you grew up with. It centers you in your life. It's something that brings you back to zero and helps you to cope with a fairly confusing and stressful world at times.
If we're going to look forward to the future, we're going to look out there 20 years, and we're going to talk about advanced technology. We're going to talk about more access, more participation, more economic generation by our recreational fishery. We have to expand.
And I think that's the kind of difference recreational anglers have the ability to make. And there's many, many more examples throughout the U.S. of similar efforts. And I think we're going to see those continue to increase. And I think that's where we see this value of the recreational angler, because they're willing to put their time and their talent and their treasure to make resources better tomorrow than they are today.
With recreational fishing, it's more about the values that go with it. And I think that's hard to quantify when you're trying to write legislation and make sure that everything is even-steven. And this is a big challenge for us, is how do we quantify that tradition, that respect for nature, the fact that you can sit out there in a boat for hours and hours and not catch a darn thing and still go home and say what a fabulous day you had.